It's very hard to find good quality numbers in this market because of the slowdown. But we've identified one company, Symphony, which has had a great set of numbers this quarter, and the stock too has been in an up move. Achal Bakeri, the chairman and managing director of Symphony, joins us on the phone line to talk live to talk about that. Mr. Bakeri, good morning, and thank you for taking the time out and speaking with us. You know, in a market where we're seeing a lot of slowdown in other consumer durable names, brands like yours are managing to retain not just market share but also a very good growth momentum. Can you tell us whether you can maintain this 20-25% growth that you saw this quarter throughout the year?
I mean, this has been our actually less than our historical CAGR of the last several quarters. So I see no reason why we should not be able to maintain this or do better than this in the quarters to come.
Okay. Mr. Bakeri, good morning. Thanks for joining us. But what's your sense of the market itself?
My pleasure.
Is the market growing, or is it just that you are getting more market share?
Well, the market is growing for sure, but within that market, our growth rate is higher than the growth rate of the market. So clearly, we are gaining market share in a growing market.
Okay.
So both we are actually doing both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. So your sense is that you should be able to maintain this 20% pro rata growth in the second half and further on as well?
I mean, I wouldn't say specifically for a quarter or a year or even half a year. I'm saying generally speaking, we've had a very good, CAGR over the last few years, and in the years to come, in the quarters to come, in the years to come, we should be able to maintain that same sort of CAGR. I wouldn't really comment on anything, any specific quarter or a specific half year.
Oh yes, with the kind of heat waves that we're getting in Mumbai, Mr. Bakeri, I'm sure there is ample amount of demand for products like yours. But the one good part that the street has liked about your numbers is the way your realizations per unit has grown quarter after quarter. And now you're sitting at almost 6,000 rupees per unit in terms of realizations. Just give us a sense of over the next couple of years whether you can see a lot more, because the stock has given great returns but has already priced in a lot of the good news. So I'm trying to understand what the next trigger for the company could be.
Well, actually, we believe internally that the best of Symphony is yet to come. We believe we've only scratched the surface of the market. The market is an ocean. Our market share within the larger market, within the total organized and unorganized market is still very small. Within the organized market, our market share is certainly, around 50% or so, which is good. But if you look at the total market, organized and unorganized put together, it's a very small percentage. So there is a lot of a lot to do out there, and because of our history of innovation, because of our history of being able to sense what the market's needs are and provide them, we believe that we should be able to harvest that potential in the times to come.
Will you ever diversify into, say, air conditioners or other products?
I'll never say never, but we've been there and done that. In the late 90s, we had diversified into not only air conditioners, but even water heaters, purifiers, washing machines, a whole host of products, and that didn't work very well for us. So from an approach of, multiple products, one market, we have changed it to one product, multiple markets, and that's worked for us for the last, nearly 10 years or so, 8, 9, 10 years. And we believe we'll stick to this approach. In the foreseeable future.
Sure. You have tried to explore new opportunities, especially in the industrial cooling segment, through IMCO. What kind of growth have you seen there, and what could it be in the next couple of years?
Now that is a complete virgin territory, that within India at least. The concept of cooling industries or large spaces, warehouses, just doesn't exist. Whereas the need exists, but the understanding that a solution exists is just not there. So what we are going through at the moment is really an evangelical phase where we are educating the market as to the solution that we can offer. So this is a slow process because you have to educate the market, and but in the long term, this is going to be the growth driver. We have said this before, and I will say it again, that in the medium term, the growth driver will continue to be coolers for homes within India. in the short term. In the medium term, the growth driver would be coolers for homes in the international markets, and in the long term, the growth driver would be coolers for commercial and industrial applications within India and in other geographies. So clearly, we have growth drivers for the short, medium, and long term.
Do you need to make higher amount of investments into the industrial cooling products? I mean, is it a high capex project?
No, not at all, because the capex already has been incurred. The products exist at our facility in Mexico, so it's just a matter of bringing them over here. Whatever we need to invest is really more in terms of marketing and field sales force and stuff like that. We really have to incur next to no capex for that. And besides, ours is a asset light, capex light kind of a business model. So we would make sure that we don't have to incur any capex, whichever way it goes.
No, but generally, are you producing to capacity? Will you have to increase capacities and capex shortly?
No. We do have enough capacity for the foreseeable future. Besides, even at our facility in Mexico, we are adopting the Indian business model, asset light, outsourced manufacturing. So that's going to happen in a phased manner. So in fact, whatever I would say fixed assets that we even do have now would be scaled down. So even for greater growth, Symphony or IMCO will have to incur no capex.
Okay, just one final question then before we let you go. You recently acquired a Chinese air cooler brand called MKE as well. That's interesting because you're trying to make inroads into the Chinese market, but we've seen a lot of slowdown there. How much potential do you see from that space?
The brand is actually Kerolai. The company's name is MKE, which will shortly be renamed as SKES, standing for Symphony. But this is China's largest air cooler manufacturing company and one of its oldest. And this is the only brand which is recognized. This Kerolai brand is the only brand which is known within China and outside China. Over the last many years, we came across this brand in different markets that we operate in, whether it's Brazil or Saudi Arabia or Egypt or Philippines or Thailand, in very, very diverse markets. This is the only Chinese brand that we would sort of compete with. So when this opportunity came to us a few months ago, we sort of looked at it very closely, and we finally acquired it in August. We've actually acquired it for a very, very good price. We just paid sort of $1 million RMB, which is just about 1.5 crore. So it's an incredibly good deal for us. And although the Chinese market is facing a slowdown, yet it's a big market for coolers. Moreover, this company has historically exported half its products, especially to Southeast Asia. So what we expect to gain from this acquisition is access to the Chinese market, access to the Southeast Asian market. Besides, this company has excellent R&D facilities and very, very good testing facilities, the best that I have seen. So we'll have access to their, their R&D, their new product development capabilities, and also access to their products. And that company will gain access to Symphony's products and also our products made in Mexico. So actually, there will be great synergy between China, Mexico, and India.
Okay. Well, actually, one very quick question. A complaint with your stock would be that it's largely held by the promoter, 75%, about 10-11% by institutions. So the float is very low. Would you ever look at increasing the float in some way, either divesting or issuing more shares?
I mean, we've not really looked at that so far. We've not had the need to do that, either increase the equity or divest. But if we were to ever do any of these, one of these two, it would only be to sort of, have some very good investors, institutional investors in the company. Other than that, our business model doesn't require us to, increase equity, nor do the promoters need to divest to monetize their investment. So it would only be, if at all, in the future, it would only be to bring in some marquee investor or, something like that.
Fair enough. We'll leave it at that. Thank you very much, Mr. Bakeri, for joining us with
my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank
your outlook on the sector and your company. Well, let's shift focus now to the NBFC space. Shriram Transport